Good morning. Hello. This is my first video for YouTube, but I was hoping to start doing stuff about living with cancer, living with an ileostomy, sort of useful tip type videos. You'll have to excuse me, I've got chemo brain at the moment. I also have chemo skin as well. Some old breaking out in rashes and things like that, which is lovely. However, I noticed, I read an article middle of the week regarding scamming in the UK. Excuse me, hang on. I have to cut that out. Scamming in the UK. In the first 6 months, we've lost £1.5 million. So that money has gone to scammers, and they haven't earned it. They've lied, they've deceived, and they've cheated people, mostly vulnerable and elderly people, out of probably their life savings, because these bastards, they don't go half in, they go full in, and they take thousands. If you give them the opportunity, they will take everything from you. And sometimes, because of the way they use to rob the money, it's hard for banks to reclaim it. So it's not a victimless crime. It's quite nasty, and the way it operates. However, I have 3 tips. 3 that should stop scammers getting the upper hand. So as soon as you start interacting with a scammer, whether it's over social media or it's over the phone, first thing the scammer has to do is start to dictate and control the narrative. Because if you deviate from their script in any way, they need to bring you back into the fold. And there's many ways you can deviate. If you're a scam baiter, or you've watched the videos on YouTube of scam baiters, you can see just how they go about doing it, with sometimes hilarious results. But you also get an indication of just how abusive these people can be. So imagine, you've got an elderly parent or a grandparent who's been scammed by one of these people. It's quite harrowing to watch the videos and just see how really abusive these people can be. They abuse them into submission. It's not nice to watch, by the way. Number 1, first tip. Easiest thing to do, hang up the phone or block on Twitter. Twitter accounts that are scammers, they will join you, and within 15-20 minutes they'll send you a DM. If somebody does that, just block them. If you're not really interested in entertaining them, then just do that. Scammer accounts, they may be a couple of months old. They'll have about 4 or 5, maybe up to 20 followers. That's normally a dead giveaway. There are sleeper accounts that scammers use on Twitter as well, that have been around for about 6 months to a year, that have built up a follower base of around about 100. But if they DM you, again, just if you're not interested in entertaining them, block them. Let's just say for some reason that somebody vulnerable or elderly that you know has been sucked in, and the number 2 tip is never let somebody control your computer or MacBook or Mac workstation. They can access both Mac OS and Windows machines now these days. I think they can do phones as well, actually, but that's a different story. What it needs is for you to actually pull down the software. They'll tell you where to go to pick the software up. You need to install it on the machine and then calibrate it with them on the phone. Once you've done that, you are allowing a scammer full access to your machine. So no, you just don't do it for any reason. Doesn't matter what they say. Just think about it. For a refund, they want to offer you a refund, but they want you to log into your bank, which I'll come to in a minute. But they need to for you to download some remote software. Now, normally, even someone with chemo brain, you're thinking, hang on a minute, no, no, you don't take your laptop into the bank to deposit money or take money out. It's just a ridiculous thing. But scammers have got this way of convincing people who are doing it. Obviously they have, because they've fleeced the UK of 1.5 million. But it doesn't have to be that way. You know, there are, as I say, there are 3 key points. So don't ever let somebody remote your machine. It's that simple. As I say, you will have to download the software, you will have to install it. So if you find yourself going through those steps, if it's unsolicited, it's cold call, you have no idea who these people are or what they're offering, just don't do it. And then straight away you've taken control back from the scammer. They can't operate their scam. Now the third thing, if you've got somebody who has downloaded the software, who is entertaining the scammers, the final thing and the most important thing, never ever log into your bank, ever. So if you've got somebody who mentioned that some very helpful gentleman on the phone tried to offer him a refund, and you know, he helped me because he remoted my machine. If you've got somebody in that position, first of all you need to remove the software, but you also need to check, did they log into their bank? Because it's your bank and you are allowing a third party into it and control it. There should be warning bells going off already, but you know, so those 3 key points, if you stick to those, scammer can't operate. Now there are other scams going around that don't really require a computer, but about 95% of them do. So if you stick to the 3 rules, you'll never get scammed. And remember, as they say on the Which Magazine Guide to Not Being Scammed, if a deal or a bargain or a crypto deal sounds too good to be true, it's because it is. It's too good to be true. It's a scam. Bitcoin and Ethereum, scams like that are on the rise because of the nature of the cryptocurrency and how it can be moved across with little or no audit trail. I mean, it's ideal for scammers. What they normally rely on is, in America, it's gift cards, so Apple gift cards, Target gift cards, things like that. In the UK, they tend to go for food cards. I mean, Apple cards still work. You know, it's the same principle in the UK. But I've been stung a couple of times for people asking me for food cards. I'm not sure we have them in the UK. But anyway, it's just something to be aware of. But as I say, stick to the 3 rules that I've expanded on, and you won't get scammed. It's because you're taking control back to the scammer. Obviously, if they get abusive, hang up. Because they will at some point. If you're not playing along, they will start getting abusive. They will hammer, especially if you're elderly, they will use abuse to force them to submit. And it's ugly, it's nasty, and these people really should be arrested, but for some reason they seem to be able to operate. They close down one scam centre and one opens up, 200 yards down the road. So be careful of your vulnerable people. If you live with vulnerable people, or you know of somebody who's quite vulnerable, has a computer, especially with not so much the elderly, because I think that the whole technology thing has just passed them by. I know some do. Some are very interested in it. I'm not making a sweeping generalisation there, because there are exceptions. However, if they do have computers and they are vulnerable or elderly, and you feel in yourself that they might be able to, a scammer to get the upper hand, then have a word and just let them know those three things, because it will stop them. I was very nearly scammed recently with an O2 scam, which didn't involve a computer as much as they'd managed to get hold of one of my emails, and they were using that to log into the O2 site, which has got 2-step authentication. So immediately it sent me a 6-digit code to authenticate the connection. And I was there thinking, right up to the point where the code came through, and I was about to say the code, and I thought, hang on, if you're from O2, no. There was just a little a flag, a red flag raised, and I spotted it just in time. But it just goes to show that even the most wary people who are updated with the various scams that are doing the rounds, they can be fooled, because I certainly nearly was. So, elderly and vulnerable, they get a very convincing scammer running a very convincing scam, and yeah, that's probably why they've drained 1.5 million from the UK. Now, we are a hotspot at the moment. We are being targeted, this country, for scams. So you could well find that the volume of robocalls that we're getting in this country and just cold calls from scammers increases because they sniff blood in the water, and they'll definitely go out of it because they, apart from their base salary, they get a commission on how much they fleece, and it's thousands. In the Substack article, I've left some links to Jim Browning, who tries to close down scam centres, and I've got a link to Kit Boga, his main page. Have a look through that because he's scam beta, and you get an idea of how the scams run. He talks you through it, and he also does videos of actually talking to scammers and how he thwarts them. And there is some on there where the scammers could just completely lose their shit and just abuse what they believe to be an old lady. He's got a voice changer, and he comes across as being an old lady, and the abuse that they give to these people, or Kit Boga's character, is just unbelievable. It's frightening, actually. It really is frightening. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is probably the only video I'm going to do on scams. I'm hoping that even if it just saves one person from being scammed, it was well worth sitting here and doing it this morning. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.